Hey, Todd.
Hey guys.
Todd!
I feel like what's that guy on Cheers? What was his name? Norm. Norm.
That was perfect timing.
Cheers, everybody.
So, hi. Welcome to the developer discussion. This week, I actually want to introduce a few people. We have some guest speakers. I see Mike Ostaf is already with us, which is really exciting. We were kind of talking about this last developer discussion. And this time, I actually also want to just real quickly introduce you to our new hire. I talked about Chris Schaller earlier this week. He is sitting right next to me, so I just wanted to introduce him real quickly. So,
Hi all.
you want
Okay,
to
Chris.
tell
Real
them
quick here.
what you do and all that good stuff?
So I am on Benzene for the community, and I am going to be, among other things, supporting you guys with smart app development, questions, problems, and outline.
Do you guys have it?
I'm pulling up right now. Chrome for some reason.
No, because this is echoing. Sorry, our speaker itself is the one that's actually doing this. Let's see who else is muted. Perfect. Cool. And before we give the floor to Mike Ostaf and the group stream team, I'm going to answer just a few questions for you guys that were on here that you guys brought up. Give me 1 second. Pull it up. All right, so Jody was asking about the device capabilities that were suggested. Yay, the echo's gone. I want to remind you guys that, please continue to submit new capabilities if you find a gap in our current list. It is extremely helpful that, we are looking through this list itself. However, we'll be reviewing and prioritizing this submitted capabilities list as more people join into our developers platform team. We are, as we've been kind of talking this whole time, that we are, massively hiring. As you can see, Chris just joined our team. We're doing about, 4 to 6 people a week almost. So we are definitely expanding. And as we get more assistance, we will be able to take on that leverage and start implementing those capabilities that you guys have been offering us. And it's been a huge help that you guys have been identifying with. So thank you very much about that. Any questions thus far, or any questions for Chris? Cool. I know a few of you guys are asking about the integrations. Gilbert, are you on?
Yeah, I'm here.
Gonna log in. Oh, perfect.
Yeah. I don't know if you. Yeah, I'm on the road right now, so excuse me if it's not very clear.
Please be careful while you're driving. So they were asking if you can help a little bit about giving us a little insight about the Aeon Labs Smart Energy Power Strip and also the MyQ cabling.
Yes. So I think the first one, the Aeon Labs, if I remember correctly, that's the one that has 2 dedicated plugs that are individually adjustable. That currently I don't think is supported in the platform, so we'll have to make some changes there. Like I said in the last few developer calls, we're somewhat dedicated to making sure that we're delivering on V2. So sorry if we're not moving quick enough on that one. Do you know how many people are requesting that, April? That specific device?
There's actually quite a lot. In the list that we have without the favorites itself, it was actually the top requested item, which is around 17 different mentions already.
Okay. Oh, that helps in helping me prioritize some of these things. The second one, Chamberlain MyQ, that is more of a BD hold than anything else. So we're working closely with them to make sure that we meet their requirements. As some of you may expect, the garage door is something that you can't really mess with. It's the biggest door in your house, so we want to make sure that when we do integrate with MyQ, it meets up to their standards, and they have pretty strict standards. One of the things that they're asking for that all of their partners abide by is that we don't do deliberate automations or indeliberate automations, actually, where maybe if your presence tag senses that you're not home, that we want to automatically close that door. That is something that they explicitly don't want to do. They want to have a user action. So one of the things that we'll have to implement on our side is for a smart app to throw up a prompt, a push notification to whatever mobile client it is, and have the user say, yes, no, I want to fire this smart app or fire this action. And I can see this used in many different other areas outside of garage door control. And hopefully we'll be able to surface that to you guys when we implement that. That's not in the coming weeks, maybe more months, but that has not fallen off our radar at all. It just requires a lot more hand-holding with that team. It's not something that we can do in isolation.
Cool, thank you. And
yeah.
I know you guys have a few more questions, but I mean, I'm more excited right now to talk about GroveStream because we were really exciting, we were expecting them last time, and then, we fell off on my end. So sorry about that. And I'm really glad that you guys are here, GroveStream. So let's have a warm welcome for Mike Mills and Mike Offstaff.
Right. All right. Hey, can you guys hear us?
Yes, absolutely.
I think we're the ones that are echoing, and I apologize that we're testing out our new studio here. So, at least my new studio. So this is Patrick. Hi. With me is Mike Mills, founder of GroveStreams. So he's there. Hopefully you guys can see this and hear us. So without further ado, I'd like to turn it over to Mike Mills here.
Well, thanks, Patrick. I'm glad you guys are excited to have me here. I really didn't prepare anything to talk about. I was kind of hoping the community would be asking me questions. I can kind of give you a little overview of GroveStreams, and then we can go from there. I think we have a laptop hooked up.
We do, yeah. So if you want to,
if we want to show something, we can kind of show you something. But let me give you a little bit about my background. I am Mike Mills. I'm the founder of GroveStreams. I used to work in the utility industry doing energy rate analysis, billing systems, did some forecasting in there. So back then we had to deal with large volumes of meter data, which is, sensor data, device data. After that, I got involved with a startup here in Minneapolis, and through several acquisitions, I ended up at IBM, and I was working on next generation business intelligence at the end. And while I was working on that, we were investigating big data and cloud as a service like over 5 years ago. We knew those two things were going to be big, and I thought, you know what, this solves a lot of the problems we had back in the utility days with all this device data being generated, all this, these big data technologies. So I left IBM back then to form GroveStreams. So when you look at GroveStreams, you'll see a little bit of overtones on there's things I built in, like I really wanted to be able to do a near real time complex energy time of use block rate, so I really built in a lot of analytics capability to allow it to do that. And at the same time, I tried to make it easy, because in the business intelligence world, you make it so that you can do as much as you can, and it can be very complex. But then you also make things that can be very easy enough where a CEO could actually come in and use it. So you got to make some things a little bit easier. So it is a data logger. As far as SmartThings, so we had a lot of Arduino users picking us up, and then we noticed one or two SmartThings users must have picked up on us through one of the Arduino forums, because we don't market it at all. We're pretty much word of mouth. And then they said they were really getting into it, and they said we should put together a how-to. And I said, well, I've never used SmartThings. And they said, well, we'll help you. So one of the SmartThings users on your forum actually helped us put our how-to together, and we built a how-to get data out of the SmartThings application into GroveStreams. And I believe, I don't have an exact count, but I know we've got hundreds of SmartThings users in GroveStreams. I know we got to be approaching 1,000, if not over 1,000 SmartThings users. So it seems to be doing something that you guys really need.
I think what you guys are doing is really interesting. I know you talked to Jim, or one of you guys have met Jim at Minneapolis just from IoT Fuse. How was that for you guys, by the way?
Oh, that was a great conference. It was a new conference here in Minneapolis. an IoT conference, and it was they limited it to 200 or 300 attendees, so I think that's probably why it was so good. And it was a wide range of. They had speakers just going up, home automation users just talking about their projects, to actual Fortune 500 companies announcing, their capabilities. So it's just a wide range of people. Yeah, I ran into Jim, stopped and said hi, and had our picture taken. I posted it on our forum, so that was kind of nice. I go a little bit about the capabilities. Then we can stop and take questions, and then maybe if you guys want to see a few things, I can show you a few things. It really starts with getting the data into Grove Streams. To program your device, or in this case, it's a SmartThings adapter. Is that what you would call it? We have a SmartThings adapter that feeds the data into Grove Streams. Once it shows up into Grove Streams, it gets mapped into what we call components and streams. So a component would be, let's say, a temperature sensor, and a stream would be maybe the temperature in Celsius, and maybe another stream would be the temperature in Fahrenheit, and maybe it's recording humidity too. So it'd be 3 streams under one component. So that's how we organize things inside of Grove Streams. So the data comes in, then you can go in there and you can format your streams, assign units to them, format how many decimal places are showing, whether it's a string, a double, a float, a Boolean, whether it's longitude, latitude. We track geolocations inside of Grove Streams, and we plot them onto Bing maps too. So once you get that formatted, now it's kind of metadata that describes your streams, and we try to guess at that metadata too when you first sign up. But then you can go in there and edit it. Now you can start creating dashboards and dragging and dropping streams onto certain widgets, gauges, line graphs. You can right-click on a stream and set up alerts on it. You can derive one stream from other streams. So we have an expression-based analytical engine that you can say, maybe you can want to calculate Celsius off, from a Fahrenheit stream. But our derivation engine is really flexible. It works across components within what we call your space, your organization side of Grove Streams. So you can do things like one sensor could be working off your furnace, and another one could be working off your air conditioning unit, and then you can write a derived stream that can tell you whether both units are running at the same time and send you an alert. So our derivation engine is really, really powerful. But what really separates us, I'll get a little technical on you guys, what really separates us from our competitors, I think, is the way we do time series rollups, and we do them as the data comes in. So what we do is we associate an arbitrary rollup calendar to every stream as it's created. And what does that mean? It means, let's say you're recording energy in your home, and you're recording it once a minute. Well, we'll record your samples as they come in once a minute. We'll even record them if they're coming in down to 1 second. We get down to 1 second sample rates. So let's assume 1 minute. We'll also at the same time calculate a bunch of statistics for a 5 minute period stream, a 1 hour period stream, a 1 day stream, 1 month stream, 1 year stream. By default, those are our rollup. That's our rollup calendar cycle. So when that stream comes in, we're calculating, let's say for the hour stream, the minimum, the maximum, the average, the first in the series, the last in the series, when the minimum occurred, when the maximum occurred, and a bunch of other statistics. How many gaps, if it's a 1 minute cycle, how many 1 minute cycles are gaps? So you can get a quality of data in there. So at the end of the day, when this 1 minute stream uploads, there's probably, I think we estimate over 100 virtual streams that are created and stored in our big data store. And we don't know what statistics you're going to want, but this is kind of what you do in big data. You just guess what people might want and store it. So we're doing dumb things like storing the hourly sum of temperature, right? It doesn't make sense, but we're a horizontal application, we store it. So all these statistics are there, and then we expose these cycle statistics throughout our application. So let's go back to the user. He wants to view, let's go back to temperature. He wants to view his temperature stream, drags it onto our line graph. But now he wants to know, well, what was my daily high and daily low? Well, he can drag that temperature stream onto the same graph and go in there. And then for those 2 other series, select the day cycle maximum, the day cycle minimum. So now they have access to the daily min and high. So those statistics are exposed not just for graphing, but for alerting. Send me an alert when the daily high is above this amount. Send me an alert if the daily high is above yesterday's daily high. You can also use those within our derivation engine. So when you're deriving a stream from other streams, you can derive it based on all their virtual streams. So even though I'm recording energy at 1 minute sample rates, I can get at the monthly sum of energy for that stream within a calculation. And what that allows you to do is easily put together your energy bill based on a 1 month energy stream. Or sorry, a 1 minute energy stream. You can calculate your monthly energy bill as the data is coming in or shortly thereafter and monitor that. So I can then graph my monthly energy bill on my refrigerator and watch it slowly go up by fractions of a penny every minute. So that's really what separates us. I hope I'm not going too deep for you guys. Any questions so far?
Okay. Mike, you may want to mention how the data comes in through an API key.
Yeah, so I didn't quite hear the whole question. Are you asking how do we get the data into growth streams?
Yeah, yes. Hey, and I can elaborate a little bit. Mike, one of the cool things that Growth Streams has is obviously a very simple and easy community device type that can, or smart app that can actually take the data up. If you could walk us through just the basics of getting started here. Basically, you got to sign up on Growth Streams and get the API key. You plug that into the smart app. You choose the devices you want to log, and the data just pretty much starts showing up there.
Yeah, well, I think the best thing is maybe let me just log in here and I'll show it.
Sure.
I think that'd be the easiest way.
Can you guys see the website?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a little bit small though, but let me see if we can share it somehow.
Yeah, it might be a little too fuzzy here.
Hey, out of curiosity, are you able to do a screen share?
Yeah, we could. We'd have to. Are you actually in the conference call right now?
No,
I don't think he is. Let me do it on my end here. I should be able to get this in here. But effectively, it's a really straightforward process for one of the things I loved about it is it took me I'd written a Xively community smart app, and it was really simple to just change the logic in there to just get the API key and go from there. Let me see if I can do the share desktop here real quick from my Surface. Where is
At the meantime, David Miller has a question about any plans for volume discounts.
Yes. So our pricing model is really crappy right now. I mean, it was put in place about 2 years ago, and it was really just to kind of thumb our competitors, thumb our nose at our competitors. It was one of the lowest pricing models out there. But we want to still keep it so that we have, they're not really developer accounts. We're more freemium based. So if you're, I think our goal, I've been working with Patrick on it. Our goal is to have like 80% of SmartThings users and my other users from my other areas come in free. And then we're going to have like a data usage that's up to like $5, $10, $15. But a lot of the users of Growth Streams aren't just home users or hobbyist users, or let's say even small business users. We're getting a lot of large business users. So there's going to be like a commercial tier for those. We're still formalizing it, but it'll, jump up to like $100 a month or so. But what we'll probably do is restrict access to certain things. We're still formalizing this, so take me on my word, but we're going to restrict certain access. So one of the things coming down the pipe is like role-based security, right-clicking on a folder saying what user groups have rights to these folders and things like that. So your typical home owner isn't going to need that. So that's a feature we would expose if somebody signs up for our commercial package. And I think we don't really, I guess the pricing model we're in now, like by stream and by transaction, is really confusing for people because it's really hard to estimate what you're going to use. And it's not really tiered at all. But we are probably. I'm sorry, was somebody asking a question?
No, I think they just had the stuff on there.
Okay. But we are probably going to move. We're probably going to move more to just a straight data tier, kind of like a cellular plan, the amount of data coming in and going out. Do you just want me to try to jump in?
Yeah. Yeah. So, one of the neat things right now is the pricing model for getting started is essentially free. For the number of streams right now that most people would probably use and the amount of data that they'd probably send up is, what's the typical overage that somebody's seen right now if you're sending a lot of data from home?
I mean, for homeowners use, it's like almost everybody is free, and some guys are up. Our biggest home ones are paying $1.50 a month. So I mean, it's not a huge market, but I mean, we all know this market's going to change. I mean, this is the first time I'm on this call. We all know this market's going to change, and the volume of data is going to just keep going up and up and up. So, and we're really wanting. I mean, the money for us, we're hoping is going to be more on the commercial end. Like large farms and things like that, where there's just a lot more data flowing in to grow streams. But we don't want to turn away. I mean, it's just a nice versatile platform that anybody can use. And there's really not a lot of overhead for a homeowner to use it. I mean, it's not like there are forms being flooded with questions and things like that. And there's a couple other things. One of the things we have, and people are just starting to catch on to it, but our entire user interface is built with our API. So we've exposed everything in our API. If you want to create a component, a folder, add a user to your organization, it's all exposed to our API. The entire thing you're seeing in front of you is based off of our API. So what we're anticipating is maybe some cooler apps. Like GrowStreams can be a little overwhelming for some people, maybe grandma and grandpa, but somebody could come along and build an app on top of the GrowStreams API that's more specific to what they want grandma and grandpa to be using, or their 4-year-old, or things like that.
So, and that brings up a great point, Mike. One of the cool things that I've been working with Mike on is because he talked about all of that data that can roll up and you can actually subscribe to those streams, you can not only log data up, but you can actually get back aggregate data that you could create a virtual device type for. So you could actually program other smart apps off of a virtual device type of aggregate data. And I think that's a larger discussion about, why is it important to log data today, and why the consumer, the household, should be in charge of that rather than the manufacturers, because we know all the manufacturers out there are gonna collect the data. We know that. But for me personally, I look at it and I say, gee, a year from now, I can only imagine where this technology is going to be. But if I didn't have historical data about my thermostat, my power usage, my doors opening and closing, and various other things, how in the world am I truly going to make them smart and let them learn if I don't have that data? So I look at, a service like GrowStreams is simply something along the lines of backing up all of the data that you are logging and sending to hubs and various other things. And being a device agnostic platform, you guys have really that ability to do, so many different things when it comes to connectivity. But then there's that two-way, and so somebody could write a smart app that could connect to your API, subscribe to that stream, and get that aggregate data back. And that's a really cool feature that not many loggers really allow.
Yeah, I can't stress the importance of the roll-ups, because coming out of the business intelligence world, the actual samples are nice, but when it comes time at the end of the day, when you're doing your analytics, it's really the roll-up information you need. It's nice to know when a door was opened and closed. You can set an alert on it. But at the end of the month, it's like, well, how often was this door open and closed? How many times on a weekend was it open and closed? So you just start. You want to access at those rollups, and here's one demonstration of our rollups. Since we're pre-calculating them and saving them, the stream I have open here has we've been recording 1 second data for over 2 years. So there's I think we're over 80 million data points just for this one stream, and this is all big data. This is 1 second, and this is a derived stream. I've been deriving the cost per second to run my refrigerator, just to kind of give an example of what the level of detail we can get down into. But if I change the cycle from seconds and I go out to days, literally the call to the server to go get my data points for the day cycles. So let's say I can do the min and max, the minimum and maximum for each day. It takes a little bit of time to populate the graph, but I can tell you it just took milliseconds to go get that information out of the database. So my competitors, they've designed it so if you want to go and do that, you'll have to do it like once a month, and you'll have to go and do a sum across 30 million data points. Even with big data, which we can pull out 50,000 points probably in a second or two, it's still going to take you 30 seconds to a minute and bring a server probably close to its knees for that minute to go and get that data and do that calculation. So we wanted to be scalable. We said it's a lot easier if we just calculate all this roll-up information in advance, and then we expose it so that the functionality throughout our application can get at it, but also through our SDK, like Patrick is saying, you can just make a simple SDK call. And I want to go back to the SDK because you asked that question. So how do you get data into GrowStreams? Just like most of the IoT platforms that are out there, we have a RESTful API. And we have several different ways to do it through our RESTful API. One is all on the URL. So you just growstreams.com/API/ parameter value equals this, time equals this, and then your API key. And it will put it in, and your component ID and your stream ID, and it will put it in to the correct component. We have another one. It's the same concept where you pass in tuples of JSON. Each tuple is your component ID, your stream ID, the value, and you can pass in the time if you want, or we'll assign the time on the server. And then you can send in values for more than one component at a time. So you can do a batch call. We support compression, so you can compress it before you send it in. And then it's the same way to get data out. We have a RESTful API, which is all documented on our website to get data out of GrowStreams.
Yeah. Hey, Todd, did you have a question?
Do you have a website? What's the website URL so we can post it in the chat?
Oh, sure. I'll post that in the chat as well.
Okay, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah, Patrick, you had a real interesting point that you started going down. The use of a virtual device in SmartThings and taking that aggregation of data and doing something in a virtual device type. Give an example of how you would take that and create actions and bring value to the customer.
Well, think about it from a thermostat side of things. We're really limited in our thermostat options here, but we do know that there's ability to control thermostats. And, some of the thermostat manufacturers out there try to take intelligence into consideration as to what your thermostat schedule should be like. But as you heard with what Mike said, using his analytics and maybe another source like Weather Underground or some other barometric source, you could actually send a virtual device type the exact temperature you should be set to. His system could create the comparison and create a stream for the ideal temperature or the desired temperature for that thermostat. We could send that down to a virtual device type through a smart app, read that value, and then ultimately assign that to the thermostat that's real within SmartThings.
I see. So given past data, you could almost project the curve rate that your house may have based on past data of your thermostat readings on what the outside temperature is and project when to turn the thermostat on and when to cycle heat or cooling and things.
Exactly. So, and we know that SmartThings will connect to everything, right? That's the dream and vision, of course. But that aside, GrowStreams being so open and very commercially driven in a lot of other industries, mainly in the energy sectors and power sectors.
There is no one sector. We span. It's like a spreadsheet app. We just span everything. So
I understand, but I just wanted to help everybody on the call.
Yeah.
Is how to apply some of the knowledge that you bring. I mean, data is data, and you guys are geeked up on it, and it's so cool to bring it. But then what do you do? And that's why I wanted you to bring that little scenario together for the others to hear. Yep. I can propose what I want my thermostat to be at a certain time of day based on what the weather is going to be, based on what it was last year, or where during certain times of the year where the arc of the sun is different on your house or something like that.
Yeah, and the other thing to keep in mind is, I believe the official policy now for SmartThings is to only allow you within a smart app to go back 7 days within the history event. So it creates a great opportunity for you, the individual, to choose to log your data out to somebody. And one of the reasons why I partnered with Mike in GrowStreams in trying to send my data out there is your data is private, and that's an important part. Mike, do you want to talk a little bit about, how you store data and compared to some of the others?
Well, I don't really know how the others store their data. I'm afraid to log into their system and accept their terms. But anyways, Yeah, I mean, everybody's data is private. We don't sell data. Everybody owns their own data. I don't even have access to people's accounts. They have to invite me. When you create an organization in Growth Streams, an organization would typically be a home or it could be your business. You can invite others into your organization, or you can keep it to yourself. There's a flag where you can say, open this organization up to the public, so you can let anybody into your organization. So it's about as private as you want to make it. That's just the way it is. And there's nobody's knocking on my door asking to buy data from us. So we have no plans for that.
Mike Maxwell had a question about your data retention policies. How long are you going to hold on to data? And if a user has an account, you're going to obviously hang on to the data.
Some of my competitors they say it's unlimited, and we could, given how we're storing it with big data, some of our users are going to be unlimited, and we're kind of working this into the pricing model. Like for the free account, we might just say 1 year, and if you pay $5, we don't know yet. We're still deciding this, and you guys can send us feedback if you want. But I think what we were thinking is if you're paying $5, then it's like we'll keep it for 2 or 3 years. If you pay 10, then we'll just let you keep it forever. But there is always, even though my customers say there's no limit, there is a limit. And I know when you start getting over 90 million data points, you'll start seeing instead of taking milliseconds to get out values, it might take a third of a second or a half a second. So
where are you storing your data?
So I'm specifically, we're leasing servers from a server company called Single Hop out of Chicago. So they have all the certifications, security certifications, HIPAA certifications, all those things.
Yeah, 90 million records is a decent row count.
Yeah, but somebody will do. We're doing it now.
Yeah.
And we're watching that stream because it's been running almost 3 years, so we're watching it carefully. We can run a test case and simulate it too, but it's nice just to watch one in the real life environment.
And that's what's cool about working with these guys is these guys are used to working with giant data sets. Just huge data sets. The house is never going to really get to that kind of level, but to have that kind of power and an engine to the folks that are going to hook up their data to this and push it up there. That's the potential for that. I think is just really cool.
Well, like I said earlier, I think it's just the beginning. I think the example I say is you look at Facebook. A few years ago, I think I read an article they had 50,000 servers or something, and that's just people entering a little bit of data here and there throughout the day. Look at your house and what's coming, right? Wearable sensors, every outlet in your house, every doorknob, every window. We all know that someday that's going to be happening. Just think of the data emanating out of that. It's going to dwarf what Facebook is doing today.
Yeah.
So I think, even the big data solutions we're using today are going to be worthless in 2 or 3. They will be. They'll be worthless in 2 or 3 years. And we'll just slowly migrate over to that. And it's kind of funny how you say that. Oh, you just got to monitor one house. Well, yeah, not really. I'm monitoring, thousands, potentially millions. And for us, the technology we're using today, we can get the number of streams we can manage or monitor across everything can be up into the billions. It's going to depend on sample frequencies and things like that, but it gets up into the billions. It's really good technology. Speaking of the events and taking actions on them, I know from within Growth Streams, what you can do is when you create your event, we have what we call action packages, and it's a collection of actions. So today we only have like 3 or 4 actions. One is send a text message, send an email message. One is make an HTTP call. So if your device or gateway supports, accepting HTTP calls, you can make an HTTP call to it and take an action that way. The number of events are going to grow as we grow. The other thing too is what you were mentioning is we have this thing where you can derive a stream from other things, and one of them is from an expression, but another one is an RSS feed. And I think, Patrick, you alluded to this a couple of weeks ago. Maybe I want to record how much pollen. You need to know how much pollen is in the air so I can react to that and use that maybe in a formula somewhere. So, we have a stream that you can suck data off the internet using RSS feeds, whatever data you want, and then use that within your derivation formula.
What kind of filters joins are available for making streams?
I'm not sure I understood that question.
Yeah, so Mike Maxwell asked the question, so what kind of filters or joins available? So in other words, if you're trying to join 2 different disparate data sets, like pollen count and temperature, for example, could you mix those 2 together and derive some sort of derivative stream?
Yeah, so today I don't know if it, yeah, today the way you would do it is through our derivation. I don't know if you guys can see it. This is our derivation screen right here.
Let me switch over there. I don't know if that's
so you get a screen like this, and you just drag all the streams that are involved in the calculation you want to make, and then you do your expression down here below. So this one I'm calculating energy cost based on 1 second ampere reads. So our expression engine is really flexible. So it supports streams of different types. So you maybe one of your variables could be a stream that's holding strings. It could be holding doubles, floats, booleans. And so you can mix those in there. And then we have a ton of, I brought it up here, you're not going to be able to see it, but we have a ton of functions that can be used within our expression, sine, cosine. Think of it like it's almost the same type of expression that you use in a spreadsheet. So you can do basic if-thens, get access to pi, sine.
Yeah. So, one of the things that I love about GrowStreams is it doesn't cost anything to sign up. You can get in there, you can play around with it. You can even import data from a spreadsheet, right?
Yep. We export to spreadsheets, and you can do right now we have a fixed import, delimited text file import.
Yeah.
And it's big data, so we can actually import, tens of thousands of files at one time.
Yeah. So Major asked a question, and this might be a good place to just kind of wrap up here. Is in one sentence, how would you describe GrowStreams?
Oh, I think it's an intelligent. It is a data logger, but I would refer to it to be called as an intelligent device platform.
Great.
So whereas like SmartThings, you can't really save the data for more than 7 days, let's say. GrowStreams, I could like build a huge repository of this data and like do interesting stuff with it, right?
Right.
Yeah, and because it's your data, you're storing whatever you want, and of course you can marry it up with somebody else's data too, and and think about the future where your car is going to be sending data up to someplace. My bed sends data up to Select Comfort. How do I merge these things in together? My option right now with SmartThings is to reverse engineer the API, but if there's some partnership that could be had later on that can make my data available through GrowStreams or Fitbit or anything else that might not necessarily fit into the smart home infrastructure, but you want to overlay it. And I think somebody mentioned in the chat, things like pollen count and wind. There's obviously a correlation with that, but you could derive some sort of, I should probably close my windows alert based upon those types of things, and know that the windows are open.
Right.
Those are the kind of really cool things that you can do. And then look at the historics.
Yeah, and I got an interesting email. I'm not going to read it. I brought it, but I'm not going to read it to you. I got one from a SmartThings user, and I asked him what he was working on, because he had a lot of technical questions, and he had a laboratory out west he was using SmartThings for, and they've been doing manually recordings of temperature and humidity throughout their one or more labs. And he used SmartThings, and then he saw the tutorial to feed up into GrowStreams. He fed into GrowStreams, and now they've automated that whole process of. And since we do the roll up, so he's got all the regulatory things he needs, like the daily min, daily highs, and things like that. So I thought that was kind of interesting that a laboratory was using SmartThings with GrowStreams.
Thank you so much, Mike.
Well, thank you. Thank you for having me here.
Yeah, thanks, Mike.
Yeah, I'm really excited. I never knew data could be so exciting. I'm so sorry, but it actually is. There's so much potential that that it can actually open up so much windows as Patrick was saying. So this is really interesting, and I think we're all really in a very exciting spot right now, right, with IoT and getting all these data that's normally you wouldn't actually have just on your daily life, just because, we just never had that option before. So this is really, really exciting. And I'm really glad that you came in on here, Mike. Major was just saying that he would love to chat with you more about it sometime. And we're really excited just to, have that talk with you. So thank you again. Does anyone have any other questions for Mike and GrowStream?
I had a question. about your expressions. Like, I'll dig into them more myself. But I'm just curious. So it's just plugging in and using data from different feeds, right? Do you have it set up so you can use previous data already?
Yeah, so one of the settings on each feed is what we call an interval offset. So if you set it to -1, it uses the previous interval. So you can set it back to, if you select your day cycle, the day sum, and then say -1 for your offset, it will use the sum from the previous day.
Okay, and so right now that's just going to be like sine and cosine and a few other, basically nothing beyond spreadsheets, correct? More like just, if you can do it in Excel, you can do it there.
Yeah, it's probably not quite as much as Excel, but yeah, the concept is the same.
Okay. Yeah.
And I was going to say, if you guys need to contact me when you sign up with Grove Streams, you'll get a complimentary email from me. It's automated, but you'll get one with my email address on there. So then you can just send me an email directly. We're not that big yet. I read my own email.
Hey, Mike, I have a question.
Someone read my email.
Yes.
Yeah, Todd.
April, that would probably be scary. Anyway, Mike, I had a question. Have you guys given any thought to talking to hardware manufacturers to do things like projected life cycle failure moments, things like that? So I know one of the things that you start looking at is like even an open close sensor, how many times you open and close a door. So let's say you have a door, we'll just use that, and you can project that it's been opened 10,000 times and the average failure mode on a hinge is 10,050. And so people can start taking proactive actions to mitigate against that failure. So maybe a switch going on and off, a light bulb being used so many hours, different things like that. So you can start taking action before a failure because you have all that data.
You are spot on, and I think almost every manufacturer, and my personal belief is in the future, almost every manufacturer will be monitoring their stuff remotely, and they'll learn from it, what we need to improve, and they're going to know when things are about to go wrong. As far as today, I think right now we have about one engineering firm a day that signs up. And I know I have a customer going back about a year ago. They do HVAC installations, and they're recording all kinds of stuff on their equipment to watch for those failures before, things. They'll monitor the pressure of the air coming in, coming out, the temperature coming in, coming out, all kinds of diagnostics. And they're using that. It's a service that their customers pay extra for to monitor remotely.
Let's take it up one notch. I'm an insurance firm, and I sell warranties for a manufacturing company. And this company says we sell warranties for 5 years. What's my risk based on my actual failure occurrences compared to what I sold the warranty for? Where's that price break point? I mean, you could really take this stuff way out there.
You could release a product. You probably can't change the warranty on the fly, but you could release a product and those numbers could be changing as you see the failure rates come in, right?
Exactly.
Your policy could change every day.
I don't know if I'd like that.
No, but from an insurance company's standpoint, they're always assessing how much risk they have. So if they have this data from a manufacturer that you're providing all this history on, they could ask for it and say, here's what the base price point will be.
Yep.
To insure or warranty your device.
Definitely.
Anyway, are there any East Coasters online today? Anybody from the East Coast?
Major's at the East Coast right now, and Gary, it seems like.
Well, I'm in Pittsburgh. It's close.
You guys, it's 80 degrees out, and this is my pool. I'm going to get in it after this.
Oh, you're evil.
It's nice and warm here. It's about 60.
Not cool.
Wow, Major. Wait, is that inside your room itself?
No, that's in my backyard, and that's a vineyard out there. So we're out there chilling. I feel sorry for everybody in the East Coast. My wife just came home and was freezing to death.
Hey, it snowed last night here.
Yeah. Anyway, it's coming.
Major,
It's
is
in
that your
California.
room? What the heck? Dude, I'm jealous. I need to be in Kansas City right now, apparently.
No, you don't.
So, speaking of Kansas City, guys, sorry to move on with the conversation. Major is actually there. He will be at a bar tomorrow. Major, can you talk about it? Because I forgot off the top of my head where it is. But you guys should hang out. It's a meetup there.
I doubt anyone on this call is in Kansas City, but I'm here doing some mentoring for Techstars and thought I would do a little meetup tomorrow night. So if you're around the area, if you have friends in Kansas City, let them know. I'll post the link in the chat room, but we're just like hanging out, talking about SmartThings.
Grabbing some brewskis. And then also, I wanted to invite you guys, if you guys are around Palo Alto or in the Bay Area, on Tuesday, the platform developers team, or the developers platform team, however you guys want to call it, we are going to be at a bar in Palo Alto for a happy hour. So Dora Hugh is going to be there if you guys wanted to pick her brain. You're going to pick brains from, like, Langer and Donald, and basically, every aspect of the team except for Ben, because Ben is on a horrible vacation in the Galapagos right now or something like that. So
Galapagos.
Whatever, it's Carl. I'm just jealous. And he's there. So I would love to see all of you guys here if you guys are in the Bay Area. PA. Oh, sorry. I'm just reading chat right now. Yeah, PA as in Palo Alto. For some reason, SmartThings likes to use the acronym PA for some reason. It makes no sense. It's supposed to be like San Francisco or maybe like California. But yeah, whenever we say PA, it actually means Palo Alto. Sorry, guys. But yeah, we'd love to see you guys there. If you guys RSVP, we will send you a link once I find out if the bar wants us there. If not, we're going to find a few other bars. It'll be cool. Todd, are you talking about swag?
Where's the T-shirt?
Yeah, so actually, so the T-shirts that you guys all made and participated in was actually accidentally sent to LA. So if you're going to be in LA Hacks, I would be welcome to give it to you. But if not, then I am going to send those next week. They're supposed to be there. No, Gary, I'm not going to give you I broke SmartThings T-shirt. Get over it. You'll never get it. But yeah, I'm going to send those out for you guys. Another thing is I want to do a shout out real quick. Mike, thank you so much for being awesome. He actually helped a really huge assistance in our child devices, and kind of helping us with that problem with our engineers. In fact, I was really late at night, and then someone told me I had to thank you, so I sent you a card. I'm glad that you received it. I was really, oh, you have it. I will have to actually admit, I stalked your Facebook profile to find out that you like lotuses, especially yellow ones. And just to let you know, on an internal email, I made sure everyone in SmartThings also knew that you did that. So we really, really appreciate the fact that you did that for us. Thank you so much. Any questions so far? I know I'm on a tangent now. Cool. And then also on the next developers call, we actually will have some really cool things. We're changing it up a little bit, as you can tell, and actually Mike, started it off staff, that is. We are actually going to go towards a theme. As you guys can see that, I posted a small schedule ahead of time, so you guys kind of know which teams are going to be coming in and talking about their projects. Next developers call, you're going to have the platform developers team, so if you guys didn't hit us up at the happy hour, which secretly we're going to be talking about hiring also there. But if you guys aren't there, we will be on developers call on the next one. So the cool thing is you guys can ask questions to Dora and Ben about our roadmap, and how it affects the developers platform, which includes IDE, it's basically stuff that you guys have been doing. So that's the first one. But then the week after, I'm really excited because it's actually the mobile team. I know in the last developers call, I forgot which engineer, I think it was like Rob or someone actually was talking about 1.70, which we're testing on our end right now. They're going to be talking about that. So I would love for you guys to submit questions about, because I know you guys have a lot of questions about Windows, mobile, and Android. And iOS, in addition to the wearables questions. Those, yes, Gary, in a few weeks. So in 4 weeks, a month. It should be very exciting because they will, or maybe it's 6 weeks actually, because I can't count. It'll be really cool because then you guys can actually talk to them. You'll meet the product managers. You'll meet the engineers. I'm going to try and get Dora on the second call, or the upcoming call. So you guys will definitely at least get her there. Most likely she'll make it. I just need to actually ping her. She's been really busy. So, but yes, we will try and get her. If not, you have the VP of Community, which is Ben. So, but I'm more excited about the mobile team. They do a lot of cool stuff. And hopefully, we're trying to get permission right now, but, we're going to try and show you guys a sneak peek of something, too. That is super, super exciting. Any questions? Or any team you guys want to see or talk to? Yes? Oh, Gary's actually just doing his SmartThings thing. Peek? Oh, yeah, code challenge. So this is exciting. Jody, you were the one that actually brought that up. So, yes, we're doing a monthly code challenge. We're going to choose the theme at the beginning of April, which is next week. And essentially, for now, and I'll be honest with you, I'm trying to actually get approval for the budget for this, so we can actually do monetary value ones. But at this time, I actually made really spiffy flag. So if you want SmartThings branded stuff, I could start with that. Sorry, I'm just actually looking at the. Oh, that's
April. April, maybe
Sorry.
You can get people on the V2 beta list if they are winners of the challenge. That'd be a very nice prize.
Oh, all right. So if Gilbert says that, then it is accurate. All right, guys.
No. You have to get the okay. You have to get the okay, but that's just a suggestion.
I don't know, Gilbert. It sounded like it's coming from you. So Gilbert said he's going to give a Huffy to whoever wins on this first challenge, guys.
Yeah, pass those cars.
Yeah. He's driving and he's showing a Huffy too. So, yeah, we just got those today, Mike. It's really exciting. I tried to open it for you guys. Maybe I shouldn't. But you guys have seen it. If you check, the previous developer calls, everything was inside. Yeah. So we will actually give out a little bit more information about it. So, but we're trying to find partners either Hackster or Challenge Post and stuff like that. And then I'm going to be forming a team, kind of like what they were saying. We're going to have some SmartThings people, kind of like Chris is going to be one of our guys because he's our Smart App guy. He looks really excited.
I'm super excited.
It is actually really exciting. And another thing is, there are some people who are not developers and they want, Smart App. They do want some Smart Apps created for their own scenarios. That could also be someone, a community member, and then one of you senior staffs will be one. But obviously, if you submit something, then you can't be a one. So probably we'll have I don't know, Jim.
Maybe there's two contests. One to to come up with the most creative idea, and then a separate one for the execution of it.
I actually would like that. I was gonna propose like to have the SmartThings employees actually come up with like scenarios. Actually, you know what? Here you guys go. You guys get a little head start because you guys are on the developers call. On April's contest, the first one is to integrate music and make party lights, essentially. So all over with different Hue hubs or whatever hubs you guys feel like using. Integrate it with the music. If you guys can do it by beats per minute, do it by tempo and the type of music being played. You guys can make it where different music will work. Kind of like what Michael Diaz was asking. I was actually thinking about that and talking to Major about it a few days ago. So that is the first one. Do you guys have any questions about this challenge? And you guys have 2 weeks to do it from April 1st. So you guys get a head start because you guys are here at the developers call. Bam.
That one's gonna be a challenging one. That one's gonna be a challenging one because that one we don't have tempo or the audio stream going through our platform. So that I would like to see how people execute that one.
Oh, I
Stop
already
being a
have
party
some
pooper.
I'm the product guy trying to see how we can all make a product out of this.
Ooh.
Gilbert.
David says Matt on group stream. Maybe we could do it that way. I like it.
Gilbert, I'm starting to think you're an Uber driver instead of SmartThings employee.
Why is that?
Because we've been driving around for a half an hour. Who's in your back seat?
Yeah, well, hey Todd, who was in your backyard there?
Oh, that was the cleaning lady.
There's no one in my back seat.
I just got smacked.
All I have is a hubby too.
Dude, you need to get a life.
It's a long drive home.
Oh my gosh. Man. Oh, sorry.
Oh.
Hey, Gilbert, I'm going to do the same.
Hey, we're cutting that out of the YouTube video, right?
I love my hub.
Nope. I actually don't know how to edit. Well, actually, I do know how to edit video. It's just I don't have access to that. Ben generally just posts it up on YouTube, so I'm so sorry. I mean, if I had access to that, I would have deleted that 2 minutes of brain fart that I did on the previous dev call because that was extremely embarrassing. So, or all the time when you guys see my laundry monster, which happens every Wednesday. I'm so behind on laundry now because I'm actually here in Palo Alto.
That's going to be the next developer challenge. Do April's laundry by Wednesday before the developer call.
Yes.
April,
that is a big challenge. I'm kidding, guys.
I do want to see maybe an upcoming challenge where we integrate Google Calendar and see some interesting things going on with that.
Already done.
Actually, once Google Now happens, I'm really excited to have that as a challenge to integrate it. For example, if there's traffic, then it will wake me up a little bit earlier. My coffee machine will, actually turn on and my shower goes on, and